Hi everyone! So after 1 week on the PTR, we have seen a lot of new stuff with the ethereals and also some builds popping up, like on the Monk with the reworked inner set and the Wave of Light build as well. So you might have seen this bug with the inner Monk that makes it much stronger than it should be, but it also has some bugs that makes it much weaker than it should be. In the end, the net benefit is something like plus 20 tiers of too much power, so they're kind of easily clearing 150 solo already on the PTR. But this will be fixed, and I believe the build will be adjusted quite a bit after that as well. Then there's Wave of Light, which has turned out to be extremely strong, so we can see some of those here. And there's also a bug with the reworked bindings of the lesser gods that make this Rabid Strike Mystic ally gain this ×5 bonus on the fire ally here. So let's see what will happen to Wave of Light. For now it looks quite good, but it will probably also get tuned down a little bit. So while those two builds on the Monk actually have the highest clears on the PTR right now, both of them will probably be adjusted down because of those bugs. And that leaves us with, well, mostly Firebirds as kind of like another top tier contender. The Bone Spear got nerfed and the Heron's Fury Crusader got nerfed. And Firebirds was right now I think the second best build in the game after Bone Spear. And it didn't get any nerf, and instead it got a really strong new weapon, which is the Mangstone's Lesson. This one will make Firebirds insanely strong to the point where you will probably see the first 150 clears popping up at as little as 2.5k, maybe 3k Paragon next season. In general, every single class is going to clear 150 next season, so this is basically guaranteed. A few classes have already done it without a season theme in Season 23. And Season 24 will buff everyone by somewhere between 6 to 9 tiers because of those ethereal items. The classes that will have it the easiest are the Wizard, of course, because of Firebirds, and then there's also Necromancer. Even with the nerf, Bone Spear will clear 150, but it will probably be even easier with Corpse Explosion or even Grim Scythe on the Necromancer, which are both shaping out to be insanely strong. Barbarian, Whirlwind, as always, gets a huge weapon with the Grandfather. Crusader, of course, even with the nerf, you're gonna see that happening. And I also expect that the Monk will do 150 with the inner set and maybe with a light, depending on how they adjust it. And even if that is not the case, there is still POJ Tempest Rush, which also gets a really huge bonus here. And that leaves us with Demon Hunter and Witch Doctor. Demon Hunter will have it quite difficult. Demon Hunter is actually gonna be the weakest class next patch, as it turns out. So the Gold DH is simply not a very strong pushing build anymore after they have adjusted the Hanging Arrow Pierces on it, but it is definitely top tier for farming. The Breezer, the two-handed crossbow that the Demon Hunters are getting, is completely bonkers for this build and also gives the Gold DH something like 9 or 10 tiers worth of bonus damage, and you will really notice the impact here. And for solo speed farming, I was blasting GR115 easily at Paragon 1400. So definitely good times ahead for the Demon Hunters. There is also a decent chance that Natalia Rapid Fire will do the 150 on season this time around, which is actually the strongest build on non-season because it really starts scaling up when you have high Paragons and you can actually survive. We haven't really seen much of Natalia in season, but in non-season it is actually the highest clear in the world, I believe. And who knows, if there's a 150 possible with it, which I believe it is, there will probably be someone going for it next season. In either case, it will be extremely difficult to do that as a Demon Hunter. You will need a very high Paragon. So when Wizard can do it at, let's say, 2.5k and maybe Necro and Crusader at like maybe 3k or so, then Demon Hunter will probably need something like 6k, 7k Paragons to have a decent chance here. And then there's Witch Doctor. And the curious part about Witch Doctor is it is extremely underplayed, but right now on the PTR it has pretty much one of the best clears in the solo rankings. We can see here is a 2.5k Paragon clear, 143 in 12 minutes. And this is done with Zunimassa, which is shaping out to be extremely strong because it was already the strongest Witch Doctor build after the Spirit Barrage nerf from Season 23. And it scales extremely well with attack speed because it double dips on attack speed. And here we have an ethereal item for the Witch Doctor that is essentially perfectly made for that build. It has very high attack speed, it has some cooldown to give you more defenses, and it has an even more attack speed proc that you can stack up and have permanently over time. This weapon is absolutely nuts for Zunimassa because of the double dipping. The way this works is that you shoot darts and your fetishes will shoot darts with you. So when you have higher attack speed, they will attack more often as well. but because they are pets, they have pet scaling, which means that they will scale with your attacks per second as a separate damage multiplier. And this is where the double dipping comes from. Any roll of attack speed on your gear on this build is extremely potent, and if you add a really high base attack speed weapon with another 30% attack speed bonus on it, you will just go crazy with this. This build actually runs Echoing Fury as the best in slot weapon in the queue, and you essentially get 2 Echoing Fury stacks for free all the time with that ethereal item. The big issue this build has is that it's insanely squishy. It's a full glass cannon and you have very little defenses. So you essentially have to dodge everything because you run Squirt's Necklace and you can only hide behind your fetishes a little bit, and you will lose like half of your health from like even a thunderstorm or something like that. And if there's like any projectiles coming at you, you will be dead. There are also some bit more tanky variations of this build, but you will lose a lot of potential greater rifts clear tiers from that. So the only real option if you want to push for the leaderboard to this is to go all in on damage and just not get hit. This is just how it works. But the fact remains that Zunimassa, at least on the Witch Doctor, is actually quite strong, and we're definitely going to see some more Zunimassa action next season, I believe, because of the potential to clear 150 solo. Overall, I really like that build. It is very fun actually, especially once you get those Echoing Fury procs rolling, because you just attack so fast and you can really feel the impact of that item, but it will not really be very casual friendly. For an easier time on the Witch Doctor, there is Spirit Barrage. Even with the nerfs, it's going to be the second best build on the Witch Doctor, and also probably going very close or potentially even clearing 150 next season as well at extremely high Paragon. So while it's quite hype that Witch Doctor is actually able to pull this off, it's not really a very easy playstyle, and it's also not really well suited for groups because you lag out the group very easily with all the fetishes shooting poison darts. So when you try to do this in 150 high tier pushing and you want to be the trash killer there, then it's just not really that great, because you will have a big pull and you can lag out quite easily there. Personally, I don't think that Witch Doctor is really in a good state at all, even with this build, and I have actually made a feedback video before the PTR launched about what I suggest for Witch Doctors, what should be changed. Mostly we need a lot more toughness and we need some more damage on some of the builds, and then Witch Doctor would be in a much better state. I was actually very surprised that we didn't get any buffs for Witch Doctor this time around, even though this is going to be a Monk season. I believe that at least on a Witch Doctor we would see some massive buffs for all the underperforming sets, just because they have been so forgotten for so long, besides this one season in season 20 where they got the new Spirit Barrage set, but this is what it is now. In case you're wondering about farming ethereals on a Witch Doctor, it will not be such a big deal. I've already made a video talking about how it will be quite easy to do so, and I will also show you how to actually set up your Witch Doctor if you want to grind out all those ethereals. But this is what I have to share for now. Definitely quite interesting PTR so far with how all the different builds are shaping up, and I'm quite excited to see when we will see the first 150 fall next season of every single class. So when the time comes to start making guides for next season, I will definitely include this one here, just because it is really fun to play and also quite strong next time around. So you can be sure I will include it. I've actually cleared, I think this was a rank 2 here on the live servers a few weeks back, and I really like that build as well. So I hope you enjoyed my video here. Let me know what you think about Witch Doctor next time around, and what you think should also be changed for Witch Doctors in general, or maybe just for the patch in general, so that we have maybe some more feedback for the devs to make it as good as it can be. So hope you enjoyed this, and see you guys next time.